Hello! Welcome to my video about my new Christmas presents, which were the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk palette of pops and the original Pillow Talk palette. As you can see, I'm very ghostly at the moment because I'm going to try all my Charlotte Tilbury products today, and I also had her bronzer, which came out earlier this year, and we're gonna put that all on my face together. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up or subscribe to my channel. I do a lot of luxury beauty and also regular beauty and also art. So I'd love to have you around. And now let's put these products on my face. As mentioned, for bronzer I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury bronzer. This is the Airbrush Flawless Bronzer in the shade Light, which is a little bit light for me, but it's also a nice subtle bronzer instead of all the very dark bronzers I usually have. And I'm using this Real Techniques brush. I feel like almost everyone who bought this bronzer half a year ago bought it in 2 shades, because no one was really sure how light this one was and how light the other shades were, or how dark. And I think almost everyone chose their darkest shade when they chose to. I only bought one, and I bought the lightest one because I'm usually the palest shade of foundation. And I have to say, this one is pretty light, which is a good thing because that was missing a little bit on the market. And it is a nice bronzer shade for me. Oh. See, it does work for me. It's nice, it's more subtle, but it is very warm, so it does give you that little bit of a summery look. And I mean, come on, this packaging. It's gorgeous. Now we're going to step to the eyes, and I'm going to start with my Pillow Talk palette. This is of course the classic one. Very light, very soft, very nice. I already tried it a couple of times. But today we're not going to use the original method, which is to prime, enhance, smoke and pop. We're just going to put the darkest shade in our crease immediately because this is a very light palette, and I also want to use the other one. I'm using a big fluffy blending brush by Too Faced. And I'm putting this darker shade all up in my crease, inner to outer and a little bit above it, to lay down a nice foundation for our pop shades. Now on the rest of the eye, I'm taking the matte lighter shade, which is right there. I'm really very much impressed by this palette. When I first saw it, I thought that is very light. You're not going to create a lot of depth with this one. And that is true, but the colors are very pretty. And the mattes blend out beautifully. And the pop shade is also very nice, so no complaints here. And in the 4 days that I now own this palette, I've used it 3 times. This is the 3rd time. So that should tell you something as well, because I also got another palette from Dior. And I also bought a lot of palettes in months previously, and I still reach for this one all the time. So now I'm taking a smaller brush, which is a short packing brush, and I'm going to put the same shades underneath my lash line. The darkest one on the outside about 3/4 in. And I'm really smoking it out quite low, because I like that look. And then I'm taking the lighter matte and I'm putting that at the inner part of the lower lash line. And I'm taking my bigger brush and I'm blending it out all the way around. I think this is already nice on its own, but we're gonna make it pop. First I'm taking this small precision brush and I'm taking the lighter shimmer shade to put this in the inner corners and a little bit underneath the brow. And I'm bringing it up a little bit towards the brow bone. And also a little bit underneath the tear duct. Now, with the same packing brush we used earlier, I'm going into my Palette of Pups palette. These are all the special shades, and the darkest one in this palette is actually a lot darker than the darkest shade in the regular Pillow Talk palette. So I would recommend the Pillow Talk Palette of Pups if you are interested in a little bit more depth. I'm not going to use my finger because I immediately get heartburn with these eyeshadows. It's horrible. And I think the effect with a brush is actually nice and shimmery. So let's take a look. I'm going to zoom you in a little bit. And I hope this will show up. I'm first going into the lightest one and I'm putting it in the inner part. Really packing it on. I'm going into the more peachy shade over here and I'm putting that on the center of the eye. And then finally I'm taking the darkest shade and I'm putting that on the outside of the lid. Now underneath the lash line, I'm going to take the final shade, which is the more pinky one. And I'm still using the same brush, I just clean it up on my hand every time I change shades. And I'm putting this underneath the eye. can see how nice and shimmery this is. In real life, it really has all kinds of dimensions. And there isn't too much of fallout. I think this is a beautiful eyeshadow palette, both of them together especially, because you get all the subtlety of the peachy colors, and then you get the sparkles, but they are sophisticated sparkles. They're not chunks of glitter, and that's why you can probably not even detect them on camera, which is a shame. But in real life it's very pretty, and I mean, anyone you've ever heard talking about Charlotte Tilbury is always talking about the pop shades. So there's no surprise there. I'm just happy they work. Because it wouldn't have been any fun otherwise. Let me finish up my eyes and the rest of my face, and then we'll put on some lipstick together. I'm back and I finished all of my face makeup. I used the Chanel blush in Rose Initial, and I used the Dior golden highlighter palette, and I mean, it's glowing, but that's also because of the lighting. I hope it became very dark suddenly. It's only 3:45, but still it's very dark, and I hope this means you can really see the eyeshadow sparkle a little bit more. Anyway, everything I'm wearing will be linked down below, and now let's finish up the look using my newest Charlotte Tilbury lipstick, which I also got for Christmas this year. This is in the shade Live It Up, which is a nice neutral pinky shade. And therefore I'm going to line my lips using my favorite nude lip liner from Chanel, which is a beigey shade. This is in the Kissing formula, and it's part of the Hot Lips 1 collection. And I thought it was a perfect addition to my collection. These lipsticks smell very nice, like a little bit of vanilla and a little bit of chocolate. And they're very comfortable and very thick, and they last very long. Yesterday this lasted through one meal and one snack and a lot of water. And I really didn't have to touch up. I did, but I really didn't have to. So I think the longevity is almost as nice as the Matte Revolution lipsticks, which are claiming to be a little bit more long wearing. But these are a lot more comfortable. So this is my Charlotte Tilbury inspired look, using most of my Charlotte Tilbury products. I clearly don't have a full face yet. Maybe I will in the future, but I still think we got the overall effect of the glowy skin and the glowy eyes. Overall, I'm very impressed with my new presents, and I'm very glad about that because they aren't cheap. So thanks, Mom, if you are watching this. Thank you so much for my presents. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you for watching my video, and again, please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!